Welcome back to another video breakdown, a film breakdown. Welcome back, especially Big Blue Nation. I know you guys are watching. I don't blame you. Um, I stand by what I said about the preview for Kentucky. Kobe Brea, parking cone. Duke went after him. Andrew Carr was a parking cone, went after him. Kentucky made shots. Kentucky made shots. They hit open shots. Duke did not. Not saying Kentucky only beat Duke because they missed open shots. I'm just saying Duke didn't make open shots. Like, that's point blank, period. Duke missed a lot of good looks. Kentucky hit a lot of good looks and hit a lot of big time threes. Creasa hit a big time three when they were down 4 and cut it to 1. Anytime Duke got to 8 or 9, it seemed like Kentucky, not only did they score, they scored right away in transition off of makes and misses. And that's just a credit to their team. They're hard nosed and they were well conditioned, and Duke was not. Third game in a row for Duke. Somebody has a cramp. Cooper Flagg had a cramp first 2 games. Colin Malawach had cramps in this game. And then Sion James went down, and Duke had a thin bench all of a sudden. And hats off to Kentucky. Big win. This is the game of the year so far in college basketball and could be game of the year when we look at it going into conference play. Like, when we're looking at it in January and February, like, damn, Duke, Kentucky. Like, that game was the third game of the year. Like, these two teams, very talented. It was a very fun game as a basketball fan in general, and we're going to go right into it. It's a live play here to start off with Cooper Flagg. Handoff. Here comes Knipple underneath the rim, setting a back screen for Cooper Flagg, and hits Andrew Carr, and it leads to a lob. How does that get open? Because simply when Knipple is setting that, whoever the guy is guarding Knipple, Ome, I can't remember his name for Kentucky, you got to bump Cooper Flagg here. Like, he might be saying, hey, back screen, but you got to bump the screen. Like, you got to bump the guy going off the screen. Goes untouched, lob. Good play. Way to start off the game for Duke, 2-0. This is what Kentucky killed Duke on all night. It seemed like just guard to guard exchange, whether they slipped it or not. Sometimes Duke just second guessed. And this is what Amari Williams does best offensively, besides him being a defensive just horse on the defense side of the ball. I mean, 3-time defense player of the year in the CAA. His vision is elite, but also good play by the guard-to-guard exchange. Duke's switching guard to guard, miscommunication, leads to a Lamont Butler layup. It's Caleb Foster switching. Tyrese Proctor gets bumped too late, and he's on the backside of Lamont Butler, and he's burned to make it 4-3. It's a good action that tore up Duke. I mean, that simple action was hurting Duke a lot in this game, and you're going to see it burn Duke later in the second half. And here, just ball screen. Cooper Flagg can't get out there in time. But, again, as much as Andrew Carr is not a great defender, shot 37% from 3 last year at Wake Forest, I think. Like, the Duke can fill it up from 3. Just got enough space, let it fly, big guy. Big shot. Big shot. And shout out to Mark Pope. Said that they practiced with Spalding ball the week leading up to the game, and it showed. Out of all 4 teams that were at the Champions Classic, you could tell Kentucky practiced with Spalding balls, and the other 3 probably did not, the way they shot the rock. It's just good awareness by Mark Pope. Here, again, look who Duke's attacking. Number 7. Anytime Andrew Carr was on the court, Duke attacked him. Right on cue. Attack Andrew Carr, puts Lamont Butler in no man's land. Out of control closeout, good ball fake, good basketball by Tyrese Proctor knocking that down. So again, mismatch, guard to a big, burns him. Lamont Butler has to dig to try and bail out Carr. Lamont Butler's now in the sucker hole. Duke takes advantage of it by a ball fake, flyby, bang. Bang. Simple basketball, but simple basketball is a thing of beauty. Simple basketball is a thing of beauty. Again, Duke's going right at Carr. Good matchup. I live with that every time as a Duke fan. If you exploit the weakest defender on the floor every single time, I'm perfectly fine with you putting the shot up. And that's what Duke was doing with Carr early. And it's not just going to be Duke. I expect other teams that play Kentucky to see, hey, we're going to attack number 7. And now Kobe Bray is in. And here is just a possession that, look, it's an ugly possession, and you get bailed out on a 3. Like, this is how the national narrative was that how Duke played in the second half trying to score the ball. This is what people thought it looked like. But the reason it doesn't get talked about with Kentucky is because they make the shot. And that's hats off to them, because sometimes you just have to make a bailout 3 in a shitty possession. And that's what Kriisa does right here. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Kentucky has yet to penetrate the perimeter. Like, no dribbles have made it past the 3-point line. Duke is just guarding and being aggressive out up top. Kentucky can't get anything going. So now it's just fighting for your life, move around, and a prayer's answer. And sometimes that just wins you games. Like, that didn't win the game, but you know what I mean. Like, sometimes when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And I think Kentucky made their first 5 threes. So Duke went after Andrew Carr. Now, here comes Kobe Brea. First possession for Brea. Go right at him. Could have been an and one. And I'll give Brea credit. The second possession, he stripped Cooper Flagg, but that didn't derail what Duke wanted to do offensively when Brea was in the game. Duke continued to go after him, as you'll see in the breakdown. And then just a grown man dunk there by Sion James. Duke didn't really score in transition outside the first half. And, God, when Sion James is in the open floor, like, look out. I mean, that was against Amari Williams and another defender. And Amari Williams is no slouch, obviously. But see, here is happened kind of quickly, but Con Knippel's guy is going back door, and so does Mason Gillis's. They just clear out. Like, they go back door, but it's a clear out for Amari Williams to go one-on-one. And honestly, I live with this matchup every single time, because Amari Williams, though I think he had a double-double, he shot 3 of 11 from the field, and his perimeter, the farthest he can shoot, is barely outside of the arch, the circle. He can shoot 5 feet out, and that's about it. And he shot 3 of 11. And that was one of the 3. And it was an interesting take. I mean, he gets fouled right there. So it's the right call, and he makes it. And he came into the game shooting 45% from the free throw line, and I think he was like 5 of 6 from the line because, of course. But he played hard. He is the Energizer Bunny that keeps Kentucky going. Here's just a good transition. Like, Duke made transition plays in the first half and didn't make them in the second half. Kentucky made them in the second half and Duke didn't. Tale of two halves. Just get out and run. And then, again, Knippel to the rim. Could have been an and one, but just play through it. Like, here, I laugh. Like, Andrew Carr just grabbing him. Like, no foul, which is fine. I'm kind of fine with that if you're playing advantage like soccer. And then go right into the defender, slaps his wrist as he releases. No call, but you got to play through it, man. It's high major D1 ball. And you cannot do that against Knippel. I don't care if he shot 5 of 20. When you try and cheat a 3-point shooter and you try and go for that steal and you whiff, you get burned 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times. Happened with Duke, too, against Kentucky. You go for the steal, you get burned. And here comes Brea doing his thing. And look, elite shooter. A very beautiful sidestep 3 there to create space. As much as he is bad defensively, he's just as good offensively. Try and fight over top. Knippel does, but he has Knippel right where he wants him, off the side of his hip. Step back 3. And here, just It looked like there's chaos there, but I promise you it's more than that. Like, Duke gets the right read here. It's pick and roll for a lob to Malawach. Mason Gill is going to stay at the top of the key. I have like a drawing thing. This is the second time that I've had this film breakdown done, but the first time I thought the drawing thing was showing up on the screen and it wasn't. So I went a long time and hit end, and realized it didn't record it. So I can't draw on the board like I thought I could. But here, it's a lob to Malawach. Pick and roll, Malawach to the rim, and Mason Gillis is going to stay at the top of the key to make Andrew Carr guard him. By doing that, it's a free run to the rim by Malawach because Carr doesn't bump Malawach. Carr just olays Malawach. That's a lob 10 out of 10 times also, but great active hands by Kentucky's bigs. Garrison and Amari Williams, very active hands. They reach, and I mean, sometimes they got called for a foul in the first half, and other times in the game they just didn't. Like, this is an aggressive play by a big guy to go all in for the reach, because if he didn't, that's a lob. Instead, Duke gets the benefit of Garrison, I think that is, reaching in, because now it leads to a three-pointer instead of a two-pointer. But the lob was there. It's just active hands by Garrison, and they ended up burning him because he gave up a three instead of a two, or Kentucky gave up a three instead of a two. Again, ball screen, putting Brea in a ball screen because, again, the guy is just, you want to put him in as many actions as possible. Lob threat again. This time Duke capitalizes, but this time it's Lamont Butler that is at fault here because, as you see at the top with this aerial view, Mason Gillis and Sion James are going to swap spots. Lamont Butler is going to drop down, and that when he drops down, he now has to probably bump Common, or you could say Andrew Carr needs to bump. One of the two needs to bump him. Maybe even Carr, actually, now that I'm watching this back. So Andrew Carr is now being the guy that's going to go up top. Like, Duke times this perfectly. Proctor goes off the screen at the perfect time as Sion James and Mason Gillis are swapping. By doing that, there's miscommunication between Kentucky. Carr bumps into Butler when he should be bumping Malawach. Instead, nobody bumps Malawach, and it leads to a lob. Good play by Duke. Simple basketball. You see a pick and roll lob, and you think, oh my God, it's just two-man game. There's a lot of action in the backside there that you probably didn't see coming, and that's why it freed up a lob. Again, there immediately Common is getting Andrew Carr into a pick and burying him. I went back just a little too far, but here, early, Common, screen on Carr, buries Carr, gets him out of there, and now it's one-on-one Kobe Brea. You live with that. You live with one-on-one against Brea. How many times have we seen Tyrese Proctor make this type of shot in the paint for Duke? His bread and butter besides catch and shooting. He misses, but that screen from earlier by Common now has him at a mismatch getting this offensive rebound over Carr, and he finishes. So Duke attacked both liabilities defensively for Kentucky in one possession. And then end of the half goes like that. Let me fast forward through here. So here is Kentucky's Energizer Bunny, like I said, Amari Williams. Just go and get it, big fella. Nobody puts a body on him. He was over under with 7.5 rebounds. I cashed that easily because the guy just takes no plays off. Pass, one more, and a one more three alpha offensive rebound. I feel like that goes in 100% of the time. It just feels like it's the perfect momentum in basketball. You get offensive rebound, kick it out, one more pass. Beautiful basketball by Kentucky. Now here, 7 seconds on the shot clock. This possession, can't remember how it came down to this, but Foster has to go make a play. The ball is knocked away. He gets by Butler. Looks okay, but Butler was all conference or conference player of the year in San Diego State defensively. Good rip through, good punch out. And now here comes Kentucky running, dump down, and then ISO, good spin move by Amari Williams. to make it. But again, Mario Williams trying to score the ball. Duke would take those odds against rather than anybody else on the court, as he was 3 of 11. And then poked away again, but right place, right time. Again, like I said, Kentucky's bigs, man, are very aggressive reaching on pick and rolls. Like, this is drop coverage, but they're almost like doing peanut punches out there. Like, that wingspan is no joke by Amari Williams. It's a hell of a defensive play by the big fella, but unfortunately it didn't pan out for him. It led to a dunk for Duke, but Duke got 5 points off of deflections by the centers, making good plays. Garrison, that led to a Tyrese Proctor 3, should have been a lob, and then that ended in a dunk. Here, nice, simple pick and roll action by Kentucky, and they got their mismatch. Like, Duke got their mismatch with, like I said, with Brea and Andrew Carr. Andrew Carr gets his get back here on a mismatch with Knipple. Just simple dribble handoff, 2-man game. Knipple just too small right there. I mean, height wise, he's what, 6'4", 6'5", and Carr is, I don't know, 6'8". I can't even tell you, but he's taller, and it leads to a nice little hook shot. And a good set there by Duke to get your shooter open. Yes, Knipple shot 5 of 20. No, I don't think he'll ever shoot 5 of 20 again. He's coming off the screen hard. Curls it. Guy's on his hip. How do you get off of it? How do you get him off your hip? You spin back the other way, create separation on a fadeaway, bottom of the net. Bottom of the net. Good play, good counter against an aggressive defender. Nice fadeaway in the paint. Easy two. Again, I'm about to cough. Hold on. Sorry, Jesus. So now Duke gets a mismatch. It looks like Proctor has the mismatch with Carr, as Duke's went after Carr this whole time, but the mismatch is with Cooper Flagg here, and Proctor sees it immediately, knowing that Flagg has the defender on the outside of his hip. So a quick pass to Knipple. Knipple sees it as well, throws to the open hand, one dribble, spin, baseline, layup. Good IQ, quick, efficient. A game within the game. And also, real quick, I have to say something. I had Con Knipple over 2.5 assists in this game. How is this not an assist? Oh, God, no way I just did that. No way I just did that. Okay, we're back. That would have been disastrous. How is this not an assist? He already had 2 leading up to this, and then that happens. And they don't credit him with an assist. Just, it's bullshit, Vegas. And stat keepers, that's an assist. That's an assist. Didn't know I was going to show it 3 times. That's my fault. So now we go into 2-man game with Common and Cooper Flagg. And Kentucky is expecting big to big, so just switch ball screen big to big. Well, Duke has Common slip it. So man comes. Looks like they're going to switch this 2-man game with Man and Cooper Flagg. Instead, Man slips, gets Carr on his hip, and somehow that is not an and one. In what world is this not an and one? Just a shove right there in the back. 7'2" guy can't go up and dunk it, and he has to lay it in as he falls to the ground. He probably got fouled. Just going to go out there and say that. But this is what I'm talking about. Duke was the transition team in the first half. Kentucky's the transition team in the second half, as I just hit the mic. But here, like, Knipple, I'm going to pick on Knipple a couple of times, but this is the first one. Like, you gotta get back here, I think. Like, somebody's got to get back. I want to say Knipple because Proctor is going out wide to his guy. Maybe even Proctor still somewhat in the middle, but Knipple stops his run as now there's a free runner. So Proctor probably needs to be more in the paint as well, but Knipple needs to be at least even with the free runner. Instead, he's not. Proctor's over late, and it's a layup. So I put on both Proctor and Knipple there, but one of those, both those guards have to get down farther than what they were. And you're going to see it again as well with Duke. Here, screen for Brea, knocks it down. Sion James is hurt. I don't think it was a dirty screen. I don't think it was an illegal screen. I just think it's unfortunate. Mario Williams is a big dude. He's like an oak tree. And so is Sion James. It's basically like a car collision. And Sion James just got the wrong end of it. And it sucked because, I mean, he is a very special piece for this Duke team. And I hope it's nothing too serious for Sion. And here, another transition. Knipple, you got to hustle back. You got to get back. Flagg, you got to get back. Stop jogging. And one. Like, you got to get back. Malik Brown, I'll give Malik Brown the one person some, like, excuse because he's with Amari Williams. So he's just trying to stay with the ball and knowing Amari Williams is trailing. Knipple, there's no way you should be the last guy in transition defense. Like, you got to be the guard to go guard the guard. Instead, it's a mismatch downhill. Proctor again in no man's land. This time gives up a three-point play because Duke's transition defense was not good. Nobody stops ball. Scramble drill and one. How many replays we showing in this? So here, Flagg again. Then now they do set the screen and Common dives down. But this shot that Flagg has to hit continuously. Like, Flagg had 26 and 12, but 1 of 5 from 3, 3 of 13 from 3 on the year now. Like, if you're going to struggle shooting the 3, teams are going to keep going under this. Like, he hits this, but you got to hit him more often because Cooper Flagg's bread and butter is getting in the paint and rising over top and shooting over a defender. And if they're already going to sit back in the paint, then he's not going to be able to do that. It's a big shot, though, there by him because it puts him up 8. And here goes Kentucky running again. Kentucky running, layup, and this is where I'm going to get on Cooper Flagg because you don't need to go try and be a hero here. Mason Gillis has him. Mason Gillis is walling him. You're coming into the picture for no reason while your guy is holding it down defensively. There is nobody behind you to support you for being aggressive. You fall down, you bump into Mason Gillis, y'all both out of the play, and your guy gets the layup. You just got to stay attached with your guy, and then if Lamont Butler, for whatever reason, spun back to your side, and you're in the help, then yeah, maybe make that play, but not go out of the picture, out of control. Good effort by Malik Brown. They're off and running. And here, again, transition defense for Duke. Killer, dude, killer. And this one I'm blaming Cooper Flagg on because Malik Brown does something very similar that Cooper Flagg just did, and he goes to try to block the shot. Now, should he have? I say it's fine because for multiple reasons. Like, this time Mason Gillis has given up some ground, and the ball was right in front of Malik Brown, but also Malik Brown had help with him behind him that did not come. And Cooper Flagg is the one that I'm talking about. Here, Malik Brown's crashing. Cooper Flagg, look at his eyes. He's just stopped and he's ball watching. If you're going to stop and look, you got to look inside the paint. You got to get below where the ball is. You got to get even with the ball. But Cooper's just watching this unravel, and look at the free runner just go right by Cooper Flagg. You got to crash down, big fella. Sometimes that happens with Cooper. He just ball watches, and it's okay. He's young, all right? But this is what I was talking about when I tweeted, like, 26 and 12, but defensively he kind of hurt Duke in the second half some. And, like, his plus-minus was -7, and he had 26 and 12. So clearly that was the part of the game that he struggled with, especially in the second half. This is where he did not struggle. Like I said, that is the green zone for Cooper Flagg. Bread and butter, scoring, getting in the paint, and shooting over a defender. And the defender that he shot over was none other than Andrew Carr. Number 7, number 4 is on the floor. Teams are going to go after them. Now here goes Kentucky running. Nobody stops ball. Just bad transition defense. Bad transition defense. Again, Cooper, you are the 4. You're a post player in this 5 right here, in this unit. It's you and Malik Brown. So with that being said, Malik Brown, if he is the closest big man to the ball, he's got top of the key, you got bottom. So you got to hustle back and go get the guy who just ran out of the picture. You got to hustle back. Don't worry about the ball. Get back. Tyrese Proctor does not need to be the guy to go get the post player. That has to be you. So now Proctor did his job. He got into the paint. Now he has to go find ball, assuming that a big man, a.k.a. Cooper Flagg, goes and gets Garrison, because Malik Brown was the last one out of this whole play. So that's not his responsibility. They try and talk, but it's too late. Malik Brown misses the steal attempt. It's a layup. Transition defense killed Duke in the second half. Killed Duke. And then here, just simple ball screen, 2-dribble pull up, bang. Something Duke could not do all night. There's nothing flashy about it. Kriisa hit a big shot. It's a big shot. But if Duke would have shot that with this time, then media is going to talk about Shire doesn't run anything. Again, it's not a dig at Kentucky or Mark Pope. She says just sometimes it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and Joes. And it's not sometimes, it's all the time. Just look at it. Look at the data. You need the Jimmies and Joes to win. And here, live on the island. Live on this island. Amari Williams is very raw offensively. 3 of 11, and all of them are around 5 feet. If he's going to back Tyrese Proctor down and try and make a play, you live with that. You live with the percentages. But Cooper Flagg is kind of stuck in no man's land, and then he's too deep to where now his guy gets the ball. Triple threat, Andrew Carr. Flagg is flailing, leaves his feet, 3-point play. I mean, Tyrese Proctor was a punching bag for Duke and just the wrong place, the wrong time by number 5. He did nothing wrong in 3 separate occasions, and 2 of them he is responsible for 3-point plays, and they weren't his fault. Like, you think I'm lying when I say Cooper Flagg, this is bad. Just watch Shire's reaction when he leaves his feet. Can't do it. You can't do it. You got to be better defensively. And Duke just simply, they weren't. And were they tired? Yeah, probably. But look, this is why you play at Duke. Like, you play to play through adversity. And Duke went through a lot of adversity against Kentucky. And here, guard to guard, like I said in the first half. Gave Duke fits all night. Knipple thinks this guy's going to set a screen, so he tells Proctor to switch. And his guy did not set a screen. He faked the screen and just dives down, and Knipple leaves this guy wide open layup. Wide open layup. Learning mistakes, man. Learning mistakes. But here, let's go. If it ain't number 7, it's going to be number 4. Go right at him, through his chest, and one. Big boy play by Flagg. If it ain't number 7, go to number 4. Find one of them and make them pay. And Duke did. And Duke did. Here, this was very similar to the play Amari Williams had where he got the 3-point play against Common, where it was an ISO. This is damn near the same play, if not the same play. Good call by Mark Pope, right? So looks like it's a double stagger for number 2 coming off. And what's going to happen is Lamont Butler is going to do he's going to slip right away to the rim. He's going to cut, kind of like what happened against Knipple that gave up the layup. Butler's going to cut. So when Butler cuts, number 2 is going to come off of Bray screen. He's going to tight curl it, and both him and Butler are going to clear out, and Bray will clear out to where it's one-on-one for Austin Carr against Common Malawatch. So they clear out, Bray clears out, and now it's one-on-one. All it is an ISO play to get your quicker big man against Duke's slower big man. And unfortunately for Common, that's just not a place he's going to excel at, is trying to guard a big guy that far out. And good play by Austin Carr. Good play. Off 2 feet, ball fake, gets the big guy in the air and one. Big time play by the 5th-year senior. And here, Foster, if you're in for Duke in the last 2 minutes, you got to hit free throws. 65% from the line, it's just not going to cut it in these type of moments. But Malik Brown, hell of a play. Hell of a play, keep the ball alive. Duke's going right at number 7. Should have probably been an and one right there. But ball goes in nonetheless. Ball goes in nonetheless. And then, again, how many times have I said this whole time, Duke's going at number 7. Duke's going at Austin Carr at no matter what. And so what happens? Your best offensive player who's having a career night, 26 and 12, go right at Austin Carr again because he's went at him, or Andrew Carr, whatever his name is. Go at Carr all night. And he tries it. He just loses the ball right there on the spin. Loses the ball, turns it over. Kentucky goes the other way. Kentucky goes the other way. And that's unlucky for Cooper Flagg because in that matchup against Flagg against Carr, he was killing it. He was killing Carr every time. And it sucks that right there he just lost it. And yeah, there's help side if Flagg spins left right here like he was planning to, or spins right, whatever. Like, yes, hands there, but the hands also swiping the ball because Flagg is out of the ball has already left Flagg's pocket. If he spins and he keeps it tight right there, he's throwing it to Con, and Con's hitting that 3. If he's not hitting the 3, it's an open look. And again, you can do all the X's and O's you want to, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the Jimmy and Joes. And I think Con would have made it, and he would have been 6 of 21 on the night. I might be a little biased, but I think he would have hit that. Instead, goes the other way, makes 2 free throws. And then here, Flagg's going to bring it up because Flagg's like leaving, but then Foster leaves, and Foster tells Flagg to go get it. So Flagg goes and gets it, which is fine. Sorry, that was my dog, just loud snore. Flagg goes, and Flagg is just hurrying. He's just rushing now. Just turned it over. There's 10 seconds left. He treats it like there's 3 seconds left, and he drives straight to the corner. He just goes straight corner, loses the ball, and that basically summed up the game until Kentucky gave Duke a chance. Right here, they made it 75-72. Again, unfortunately, as good as Flagg had, as good of a night Flagg had, 26 and 12 or whatever it was, it comes down to the little things defensively. And here, just no box out. Goes right over the top. It's not over the back because Flagg didn't box out. You have a right to go for that 50-50 ball if the guy's not going to box you out. Kentucky made a hell of a play. And won the game. Kentucky just made the big plays when needed to, and Duke didn't. And that's how they won the game. That's it. It ain't about all the missed shots. Duke missed a lot. Kentucky missed some. But at the end of the day, when it came to big-time plays, Kentucky seemed to make all of them, and Duke didn't. So it's frustrating as a Duke fan, but as a college basketball fan, hell of a game. And as a Duke fan, it's a learning experience, right? Like, what Zion and them did against Kentucky was awesome, but also came unwarranted media coverage that I felt like really dragged the team down when it came to March. Every game was a huge game, every single game in the regular season. And then in March Madness, how many close calls does Zion and RJ Barrett and them have until they inevitably lost? So maybe this helps Duke fly under the radar a little bit. It's fine because this Duke team is going to be okay. And Kentucky's a good team. And I think both these teams are capable of making deep runs in March. And we'll take it a game at a time until we get there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown, Big Blue Nation. Congrats on your win. Congrats on blowing my mentions up. But I'm happy for the future of Duke basketball this season. And I'm optimistic. And I will be back to recap Duke versus Wofford.